Mafia's great. But who's been to Vegas and walked the streets like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? All right? Do you feel safe?
No.
Do you feel safe?
I was like 7, so I don't really remember.
Back in the days when the Mafia ran everything, Vegas was absolutely, positively the safest city in the world. Why? They would not, the Mafia hates competition. So even if you were a paid criminal and you showed up in Vegas, you'd be walking down the street and 2 guys named Rocco and Guido, right, would grab you and throw you in the car and take you to the outskirts of Las Vegas and say, Vegas is this way, you walk that way. And if we see you in Vegas again, we're going to take another car ride, but you're not going to walk away from that way. And so the Mafia, right, because they have a good thing going. They don't want it screwed up, right? So they don't want any criminals in Vegas. And so I'm sure in the deserts of surrounding Las Vegas, there are a lot of unmarked graves of people who did not heed the warning. But now the Mafia's out. Low-level criminals come in, and people walking around with money and all that. It's still pretty safe if you're on the Strip. Kind of like Bourbon Street. You guys know about Bourbon Street in New Orleans? Hey, Bourbon Street is safe, but you do not want to get off Bourbon Street because that's when they get you. Okay? So the mob is pretty much out. All right. So that's Vegas. If you get a chance, even if you think gambling is a sin and it's terrible, go to Vegas and see it as a destination. There's no place on the earth like it. It is an amazing, amazing place. Okay? So, New Jersey. Anybody from Jersey? Oh my God. Anybody from Atlantic City? All right, you guys are from Jersey? What exit? That's my Jersey. Yeah, you never heard that before, right?
No.
All right. There's this town called Atlantic City in New Jersey. Anybody see Boardwalk Empire? Yeah, I mean, it's a good show. I watched it all the way through. It was a good show. But it's true. Atlantic City was a hot spot in the early 20th century. It's where everyone went, especially from New York, to kind of vacation. And over the years, it fell into disrepair. It kind of became run down. Think of Myrtle Beach like 40 years from now if nobody cleans it up. Okay? It was really, really yucky, disgusting. And so the city fathers say, they look over and they say, well, look how good Las Vegas is doing. If they can do it, we can do it. And so they said, we want to legalize casino gambling in New Jersey, in Atlantic City specifically. Okay. Now, my Jersey guys, where are you? Hey, the Jersey, what's the Jersey?
Jersey boys.
What do you think of, what do you think, or what do your people think of the casinos in Atlantic City? Be truthful.
It depends, and it depends on the casino. But a lot of people,
in general,
it's not. Right now, people don't really like it.
It's not well received. Would you agree?
Yeah. And it's like a lot of them are closing too now.
Would you agree?
Yeah, it's pretty not that nice.
Okay, do you ever wonder why? How couldn't Vegas do it and it's crappy in New Jersey? You're going to learn something today about your home state. Now, I have to premise this with saying I've never been to Atlantic City. I'll make it there one of these days. It's just not on top of my list. Las Vegas, when it happened, it was organic. When we say it was organic, the community is all in on gambling. They're in it together. They know, as goes Las Vegas and the casinos, as goes our economy. So everyone's into it. Everyone's vested in it. In Jersey, what they did is they made some bad moves. And they opened it up to real estate moguls. People like Donald Trump. And they said, we're going to give you a sweetheart deal. And they all came in. And Donald Trump is actually the exception. Donald Trump's actually a good guy in this story. Okay? The developers came in, got their free land, built their casinos, and said, screw you, the rest of Atlantic City. I'm going to get my money, I don't really care about the community. See, in Vegas, they take the money and they reinvest it and they help each other. Here, the investors are basically, I'm in it for me, and I don't care about New Jersey or Atlantic City. And so that attitude filters down. There's a lot of people in Atlantic City that thought they were going to do well and get rich, and they were basically offered minimum wage jobs as dealers or cocktail waitresses, and they're very resentful. They know how it could be because they know about Vegas, and to the point, I bet if the referendum came up today and everyone knew what they knew, they would vote it down because they got a bad deal. People aren't reinvesting. Now, Donald Trump, when he was in Jersey, he actually tried to do this, but he was the only one. Does anybody know about the New Jersey Generals? And he tried to make Atlantic City into not only a first-class gambling destination, but a community. But it all fell apart. And so, again, what happened? They made a bad deal. If they could vote again, here's what I would do. If I were a state of New Jersey, I'd say, it's time to vote again, okay? And this time, we know what we want, okay? We don't want to give sweetheart deals to these outside investors. We want a situation that rises everybody up, okay? Who's been in Atlantic City, right? The casinos are nice, right? If you go across the street, you take your life in your own hands. Yeah, you know where the casino area is.
Yeah, it's pretty blocked off. There's one spot and you'll literally look 2 blocks in front of you. You're like, I'm probably not gonna head over there, honestly.
It's like you being the Bourbon Street thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Stay on Bourbon Street, don't get off. Stay in the casino district, don't go out. If you really want to see a movie that kind of capsulizes this, there's this movie called Atlantic City with Susan Sarandon and Burt Lancaster. And anybody ever see the movie? It just kind of shows the squalor and the depression. And she's a cocktail waitress, and she lives in squalor, but then she gets, to work every day, and there's this beautiful casino, and then she's got to go home, and it just really kind of shows you the conditions under which the locals live. So I hope they get a new deal. I hope they figure it out, because I just hate the fact that there's this place in the United States, there's resentment. So maybe I'm tallying in over it. All right, so the gambling was legalized in 1976, and they've regretted it ever since. And I think it's actually on a downhill trajectory. One of the largest casino went bankrupt and closed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And they just built it, and they're just
didn't even get it off the ground. They have the Casino Act, which is funded by the Casino Control Commission, which is similar to Vegas, all right? Now, I want to talk about Native American gambling. Sometimes I say Indian casino gambling, and that's probably politically incorrect, but people call it different things, okay? So, the Native Americans, I don't think anybody who studied history would say they got a good deal when the Europeans came over. They got a pretty raw deal, okay? And so, even today, if you go to the reservations, for the most part, I mean, if you're born into a Native American reservation, you're at the top statistic for alcoholism, suicide, depression, all the negative things, low social income, everything. You're really dealt a bad hand, no pun intended. And so these chiefs from all over the United States, anybody know about reservations, Indian reservations? What's the deal with them as far as governance?
They have their own.
Yeah. They're kind of part of the U.S., but they're kind of not. They're really their own nations within us. And I would take an entire semester to describe the nuances of the laws that govern them. But back in the day when we took over all their land and forced them on reservations, we made them a promise, hey, you can do your own thing. You can make your own rules, you can govern yourself, blah, 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 blah. Didn't necessarily work out really well for them. Okay. But anyways, these chiefs got together and they looked and they saw the success of Las Vegas. And they said, hey, they're on to something there. We can do it. And they started, and you know, they're pretty smart. They said, the laws of the nation say there can't be casino gambling. But we're our own nation. And on top of that, most people's objection to gambling is moral. Our moral codes say it's okay to gamble, right? Judeo-Christians say it's gambling, it's evil, and that's why there's laws against it. But as far as we're concerned, it's not evil. So we're going to start our own casinos on Native American land. And the federal government said, whoa, hold on a minute. When we said you could do whatever you wanted, we didn't really mean it. Okay? And so we're not going to let you do it. Well, the Native Americans said, hey, you may have got us on the battlefield, but we're going to get you in court. And so what they did is they went all the way up to the Supreme Court. They challenged this locally, and it got kicked all the way up to the Supreme Court. And now, I have a lot of hobbies. One of my hobbies is following the Supreme Court. I'm a Supreme Courtophile. Like this week with Gorsuch and all the, I was in my heaven. I was checking, you know, the news feed hourly. Anyways, Supreme Court gets it wrong sometimes. Brown versus, Dred Scott. Okay? And they get it right sometimes. Brown versus Board of Education. They really nailed it this time. And I don't think there has, in my opinion, been ever more judicious ruling and well thought out plan. They basically, does anybody know what they said? Well, they said yes. They said, Native Americans, you win. We have to honor our treaties. But there were some concerns because, you know, no one had gaming experience. All these chiefs, you know, knew how to run communities and all this, but none of them had ever run a casino before. So they said, we are going to allow you